Hey everyone, I noticed a lot of you who are watching and enjoying the content aren't subscribed yet. If you love spine-chilling stories, creepy encounters, and unexplained mysteries, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on the next terrifying upload. It really helps the channel grow and lets me keep bringing you more of the content you love. I need to write this down before I completely lose my mind. 3 days ago, I was just another teenager messing around with Snapchat filters. Now, I'm sitting in my dark room, too terrified to even look at my phone's reflection. It all started when I made the worst decision ever, exploring the abandoned Webster house with my Snapchat-obsessed friends. That Friday night was supposed to be like any other. Sarah texted our group chat about being bored, and Marcus suggested we check out the old Webster place. We'd all driven past it a million times, this huge Victorian house with peeling paint and a yard that looked like a jungle. I remember thinking it would make perfect content for our social media. We parked down the street so neighbors wouldn't get suspicious. The autumn air was crisp, and our footsteps crunched on dead leaves as we approached the house. Sarah was already recording everything, adding those typical exploring abandoned house captions. Marcus found the broken back door, and we slipped inside, phone flashlights guiding our way. The house's interior was exactly what you'd expect. Dust everywhere, old furniture covered in sheets, and that weird smell old houses have. We started messing with different Snapchat filters in each room. Marcus kept using the dancing hot dog filter, making it appear on dusty tables and broken chairs. Sarah was obsessed with the butterfly effect that day. Then I found this filter I'd never seen before. It wasn't in the usual filter lineup. It just appeared when I swiped left. It had this weird fog effect and made everything look gray and distorted. I pointed it at the grand staircase, and that's when everything changed. The filter detected a face in the empty space, outlining it with this eerie blue glow. At first I thought it was picking up Sarah or Marcus, but they were both behind me. We moved from room to room, and this filter kept finding faces. In the kitchen, it outlined 3 different faces near the old stove. In the dining room, it detected something sitting in every chair around the table. Sarah started getting genuinely freaked out when the filter picked up a face right next to her in a mirror selfie. The longer we stayed, the more intense it got. The faces started appearing in other filters too. The dog filter would suddenly glitch and show hollow, dark eyes instead of cute puppy features. The flower crown filter would place crowns on invisible heads in empty corners. Even the basic beauty filter kept detecting and trying to enhance faces that weren't there. Things got really weird when we reached the attic. My phone started switching filters by itself, cycling through them rapidly. Each one picked up more faces than the last. They weren't just outlines anymore. I could see features, expressions, hollow eyes staring directly into my camera. The temperature dropped so suddenly that our phone started showing condensation warnings. We practically ran out of the house after that. On the drive home, we tried to laugh it off, blaming it on glitchy software and overactive imaginations. But when I got home and checked my Snapchat memories, every single photo from that night had something wrong with it. Faces peeking around doorways, shadows taking human forms, and this one terrifying image of an old woman's face perfectly clear behind Sarah's shoulder. The next morning, my phone started acting strange. Every photo I took with any app showed these faces in the background. They began appearing closer and clearer in each shot. Random Snapchat notifications would pop up, but when I opened them, there'd be nothing there. My camera would activate by itself, especially at night. Yesterday, things escalated. I was trying to take a simple selfie in my bathroom, not even using any filters, when I saw a face right next to mine. So close it looked like someone was standing right behind me. It had this horrible expression, mouth open in a silent scream, eyes completely black. I dropped my phone and ran out. Now I'm seeing them everywhere. In my windows, mirrors, TV screen, any reflective surface shows these faces lurking just behind me. My phone won't stop taking random photos, and each one shows more faces closer and clearer than before. Sarah and Marcus don't believe me. They keep saying their phones are fine, that maybe I downloaded some weird virus. Last night, I woke up to my phone's camera sound going off repeatedly. The photos in my gallery showed something moving closer to my bed with each shot. I couldn't delete them fast enough. The faces are getting more detailed, more real. In the latest photo, I can see wrinkles, teeth, strands of gray hair. I don't know what to do anymore. These things, whatever they are, followed me home through my phone. They're not just in photos now. I can feel them watching me. My phone is in a drawer, wrapped in a towel, but I can still hear the camera click. Something's trying to get out, and I don't think it's using the phone anymore. They're coming closer, and I don't know how to make them stop. It's been a week now, and I think this will be my last update. Last night, something changed. I was lying in bed when my phone lit up from inside the drawer. The camera sound went off one final time, and when I checked the photo, my blood ran cold. It showed me sleeping, but the photo was taken from above my bed. Dozens of faces surrounded me, all with those hollow black eyes and twisted smiles. But that's not the worst part. This morning I looked in the mirror and noticed something different about my face. My eyes looked darker, emptier. When I blinked, they turned completely black for a split second. I grabbed my phone to check, and for the first time in days, the camera showed nothing strange. No extra faces, no shadows, no distortions, just my reflection. Because I think I'm becoming one of them now. I'm leaving this account as a warning. Some filters aren't just digital effects, they're windows, and sometimes they let things through. And once they're through, they never really leave. They just wait for the next person to swipe left on their filter. I never thought a simple loading screen on Snapchat would freak me out this much. It started last Tuesday when I was scrolling through my snaps before bed. Hannah, my girlfriend, usually sends me random snaps throughout the day, mostly silly faces or pictures of her coffee. But this one was different. It was just stuck on loading, with that annoying spinning circle. I waited a few minutes, checked my Wi-Fi, even restarted my phone. Nothing worked. Whatever snap she sent just wouldn't load. I figured it was just another Snapchat glitch and texted her about it, but she seemed confused. She hadn't sent me anything since lunch. That's when things got weird. Every time I opened Snapchat that night, the loading snap was still there. It wouldn't go away, but it wouldn't load either. Just sitting there, taunting me with that endless spinning circle. I even deleted and reinstalled the app, but somehow that snap was still waiting in my inbox when I logged back in. I tried to ignore it and went to bed. That night, I kept waking up feeling uneasy, like someone was watching me. My room felt colder than usual, and the shadows seemed darker somehow. I blamed it on staying up too late watching horror movies. The next morning, I almost forgot about the glitch snap until I checked my phone during breakfast. It was still there, but something had changed. Instead of just showing Hannah's name, there was now a timestamp from 3:27 hours after I'd gone to bed. My hands were shaking when I tapped it again. This time, it loaded. The video was dark, shot from a weird angle I couldn't quite place at first. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness in the video, I realized I was looking at my own bedroom. The camera was pointed at my bed, where I could see myself sleeping. The video was only 10 seconds long, but it felt like forever. Just me sleeping peacefully, completely unaware I was being filmed. The worst part? The video was taken from a corner of my room where there isn't even a shelf or furniture, just empty space near the ceiling, like someone or something had been floating there while I slept. I immediately checked my room for hidden cameras or signs of a break-in. Nothing was out of place. No forced windows, no displaced furniture, no footprints in the dust on my windowsill. Everything was exactly as it should be. I kept the video to show Hannah later, but when I tried to replay it, the snap had disappeared. Not like normal snaps that vanish after viewing, this one just completely vanished from my chat history, like it never existed. Hannah swears she never sent anything, and I believe her. She was at her parents' house that night, 2 hours away. I checked her location on Snapchat maps to be sure. It's been 5 days now. Every night, I get a new snap that won't load until the next morning. Always time-stamped at 3:27 a.m. Always showing me sleeping from a different impossible angle in my room. I've tried sleeping at friends' houses, even stayed at a hotel last night. Doesn't matter. The snaps still come, still show me sleeping wherever I am. The angles keep getting closer. Last night's snap was from right above my pillow, looking down at my face. I could see my eyelids twitching as I dreamed. I've deleted Snapchat completely now, but somehow I still get notifications at exactly 3:27 a.m. New snap from Hannah. My phone's in airplane mode, but they still come through. I'm writing this because I'm scared of what tonight's snap will show. The angles keep getting closer, and last night I woke up at 3:26 a.m. feeling something cold brush against my cheek. I tried to move, to scream, but my body was frozen. All I could do was lie there, eyes shut tight, waiting for that familiar notification sound. I don't know what's sending these snaps or why it's using Hannah's account. All I know is I'm terrified to fall asleep. The notifications are bad enough, but what really scares me is wondering, what happens when whatever's filming me decides it's done just watching? I haven't told anyone else about this. They'd think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But I know what I've seen, and I know something's been in my room every night getting closer and closer. Tonight, I'm going to try to stay awake past 3:27 a.m. I have to know what's really sending those snaps. I just heard my phone buzz. It's 3:27 a.m. New snap from Hannah. I'm writing this the next morning from the hospital. My hands are still shaking as I type this. But I need to get this out. I need someone to know what happened. Last night, when that notification came through at 3:27 a.m., I forced myself to open it immediately instead of waiting until morning. The snap started loading right away this time. No spinning circle, no wait. The video was pitch black at first. Then I realized I was looking at my room in real time from my own phone's front-facing camera. But I wasn't holding my phone. It was floating in front of me, perfectly still. In the dim light from my screen, I could see something dark moving behind the phone, something tall. I tried to scream but couldn't make a sound. My body was completely paralyzed, just like the night before. The phone slowly turned around, and that's when I saw it. A face, but not really a face. Just darkness where features should be, like a void shaped like a head. I must have passed out because the next thing I remember is waking up on my floor with my phone shattered beside me. My neighbors found me after hearing me fall. They said I was having some kind of seizure. The doctors can't explain what happened. They're running tests, but everything looks normal. They think it was just a severe panic attack combined with sleep paralysis. But here's the thing. When I checked my phone in the ER, all my Snapchat messages with Hannah from the past week were gone. Every single one. Except for one snap from last night that I somehow managed to save. It's just static now, black and white noise. But sometimes, if I look at it long enough, I swear I can see that face in the static, watching me through my screen. Hannah deleted her Snapchat account this morning. She won't tell me why. She just sent one final text. I saw it too. I'm being discharged today, but I'm staying at my parents' house for a while. I've deleted all social media apps from my phone. I can't shake the feeling that whatever found me through Snapchat is still out there, still watching, just waiting for me to let my guard down again. Sometimes late at night, my phone still lights up at exactly 3:27 a.m. No notifications, no messages, just the screen glowing in the dark, like something's trying to look through it. I don't sleep much anymore. I'm still shaking. Everything that happened last night feels like a nightmare, but the police cars outside my house right now are very real. It all started with Snapchat, of all things. 3 weeks ago, I got a friend request from this guy Matt, who's apparently in the same university as me. We had some mutual friends, so I accepted without thinking much of it. He seemed normal at first, just sharing regular campus life snaps and responding to my stories with basic reactions. Within a few days, things started getting weird. He'd send me snaps constantly, like 15 to 20 times a day. Just random stuff. His coffee, his desk, his walk to class. I'd reply occasionally to be polite, but then he started getting more persistent. He'd snap me asking about my day, my schedule, and why I wasn't responding faster. What really creeped me out was how he always viewed my stories within seconds of posting. Like, literally seconds. I could post at 3 a.m., and there he'd be, first view. I started posting at random times just to test it, and somehow he was always there, watching immediately. Last week I had enough. He sent me a snap of the coffee shop I usually study at, saying he was hoping to run into me. I hadn't told him where I study. That was it. I blocked him right away and thought that would be the end of it. Yesterday evening I was sitting in my bedroom working on an assignment when I decided to check who viewed my latest story. Something felt off about the view count. I clicked through the names and my blood ran cold. His username was there. That shouldn't be possible. I had blocked him. I started frantically Googling if blocked people could still view stories. Every result said no. I checked my block list. He was definitely still blocked. My hands were trembling as I opened Snap Map. I usually keep mine on ghost mode, but I could still see his location. His bitmoji was right there, on my street, right in front of my house. I live in this small rental house near campus. It's an old place, kind of isolated at the end of the street. I immediately ran around checking all the doors and windows. The sun was setting, and every shadow made me jump. That's when I heard it. There was a scratching sound coming from somewhere downstairs. At first, I tried to convince myself it was just the old house settling, but then I heard distinct footsteps. They were coming from below, the basement. I never go down there. It's just this creepy storage space that my landlord keeps locked. But as I stood at the top of my stairs, frozen in fear, I realized I hadn't checked the basement door. My phone buzzed. A snap from an unknown username. My fingers were shaking so bad I could barely open it. It was a dark photo, but I could make out the concrete walls and old pipes of my basement. The timestamp was from 1 minute ago. Another buzz. A new snap. This time it was clearer, a photo of my basement stairs, taken looking up. He was down there. I've never called so fast in my life. I locked myself in my bedroom, pushed my dresser against the door, and waited. I could hear movement downstairs, getting louder. Footsteps on the stairs, then silence. The police arrived in what felt like hours but was probably only minutes. I heard shouting, more footsteps, and then someone banging on my bedroom door. It was a police officer. They found him in the basement. He had been getting in through a tiny window hidden behind some bushes. The police search revealed something even more terrifying. He had set up a little surveillance spot down there. He had a tablet, snacks, and even a sleeping bag. Based on the evidence, he'd been spending nights there for at least 2 weeks. They found his phone, which showed he'd been using my Wi-Fi to monitor my Snapchat activity. That's how he was viewing my stories so quickly. He was literally right below me the whole time. The police took him away in handcuffs. They're still here, taking photos and collecting evidence. An officer just told me he had similar setups in 2 other houses near campus, all girls who had blocked him on Snapchat. I'm staying at my friend's place tonight. I can't go back to that house knowing he was there all along, watching me through my own social media. The police say he's in custody, but I keep checking my phone, half expecting to see his username in my story views again. The detective just left with my statement. They found lists in his basement spot, my schedule, my favorite places, even what time I usually get home. All things he learned from my stories and snaps. I don't know how I'll ever feel safe on social media again. Right now, I can't stop thinking about all those times I was home alone, not knowing he was right below me, watching everything I posted, waiting. What happened with Katie wasn't normal, and I'm still trying to make sense of it. It started last Tuesday, and honestly, I wish I'd paid attention to the signs sooner. I was having lunch at my desk, mindlessly scrolling through Snapchat when I noticed Katie's bitmoji on SnapMap. We've always shared our locations. It started as a fun thing in college and just stuck. Her bitmoji was at her apartment, which made sense since she'd been working from home lately. I sent her a quick snap of my lunch, expecting her usual response of her workspace mess or her cat doing something weird. Hours passed, and she hadn't opened it. That's when I first felt something was off. Katie always checks her phone. It's practically glued to her hand. By evening, my snap was still unopened, so I sent another one. Still nothing. I checked her other social media, but her last posts were from days ago. The next morning, I woke up to something strange. Her bitmoji had moved overnight, but not in a way that made sense. Instead of being at her apartment, it was showing up at Wilson Park, that sketchy area between our neighborhoods that nobody goes to after dark. I tried calling her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. I even texted her work friend, Emma, who said Katie hadn't logged into their morning team meeting. That's when I called her sister, Sarah. The conversation changed everything. Sarah told me Katie hadn't shown up for their Tuesday family dinner, which never happens. Katie's never missed one in 3 years. Her car wasn't at her apartment, and none of her friends had heard from her. Sarah had already filed a missing persons report. Here's where things get really weird. The police found Katie's phone that afternoon in a dumpster behind Fresh Mart, completely across town from where her bitmoji was appearing. The phone was dead and had some damage, like it had been thrown hard against something. But somehow, her bitmoji kept moving on my Snap map. Each night, the bitmoji would appear somewhere new, always getting closer to my apartment. Thursday night, it showed up at Central Coffee Shop just 3 blocks away. I couldn't sleep that night, constantly checking my phone. I took screenshots and even recorded my screen, trying to track the pattern. Friday night, the bitmoji moved again. This time, it was at Mike's corner store, literally around the block from me. I sent the screenshots to Detective Morrison, but he just dismissed it as a tech glitch. He said, "Apps malfunction all the time," and told me to focus on providing real information about Katie's last known movements. Saturday was the worst night. I'd been stress cleaning my apartment all day, trying to keep my mind off the whole situation. Around 3 a.m., I checked SnapMap again. I couldn't help myself. Katie's bitmoji was right there, standing at my building's entrance. Not nearby, not down the street, but right at the front door. I ran to my window and looked down at the street. The entrance was clearly visible under the streetlight, but no one was there. Just an empty sidewalk and Katie's bitmoji hovering on my phone screen. I stayed up the rest of the night, watching that little cartoon character standing there. It didn't move an inch until sunrise. When I checked again Sunday morning, the bitmoji had vanished completely from my Snap map. Not moved somewhere else, just gone. Later that day, the police found Katie's car. It was parked behind the same Fresh Mart where they'd found her phone, but it had been there for days according to the security footage. The cameras showed the car pulling in Tuesday night, but they never caught who parked it there. The footage was too grainy and dark to make out anything useful. The police are still investigating, but they haven't found any other traces of Katie. They've searched the park where her bitmoji first appeared, checked the coffee shop's cameras, and even brought dogs to track her scent from her car. Nothing. Yesterday, 3 weeks after Katie disappeared, something happened that made me finally delete Snapchat. A new friend request popped up on my phone from Katie's account. The same account that should have been logged out when her phone died in that dumpster. I deleted the app immediately and bought a new phone today. I don't know what happened to Katie. I don't know if her bitmoji was trying to tell me something or if it was all just a cruel tech malfunction. But I know what I saw, and I know something wasn't right about those 4 nights. The police keep asking me for anything unusual I noticed before she disappeared. I haven't told them about the bitmoji. How could I? But every night, I still find myself staring out my window at the spot where her cartoon character stood, wondering if I missed my chance to understand what it meant. Last night, I deleted Snapchat from my phone and haven't stopped shaking since. I need to write this down while it's fresh in my mind before I start doubting whether it really happened. What started as a weird notification turned into the scariest week of my life. It began last Tuesday evening while I was making dinner. A Snapchat notification popped up from an account I didn't recognize, just a string of random numbers. I get random ads sometimes, usually spam accounts trying to sell something. But this one was different. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. The video was shaky, taken at sunset. Someone was walking down my street, slowly filming the houses. I recognized everything. The Thompsons' blue house with a crooked mailbox, Mrs. Garcia's overgrown rose bushes, even the dent in the street from when the garbage truck backed into it last winter. The video ended right before reaching my house. I didn't think much of it until the next day. Another notification, same type of account but different numbers. This time they were closer, filming from the corner of my block. The video was steadier now, deliberately panning across each house before lingering on mine. I could see my red Toyota in the driveway and the Halloween decorations I still hadn't taken down. By the 3rd day, the snaps were coming more frequently. Morning, afternoon, evening, always from different accounts but showing the same thing, someone getting closer to my house. They were across the street now, capturing clear shots of my front yard. I could see my bedroom window, the broken shutter I'd been meaning to fix, even the newspaper still sitting in my driveway. I blocked each account, but new ones kept appearing. The video started showing different angles, the side of my house where my kitchen window is, the narrow gap between my house and my neighbor's fence, the back door that leads to my patio. They knew every corner of my property. Friday night was when it got worse. I was in my bedroom when the notification came. The photo was taken from my backyard, showing me through my window. I was sitting on my bed, looking at my phone. The timestamp showed it was taken just seconds before I received it. The caption read, "Nice pajamas." I ran downstairs and called the police. They came out, looked around, found nothing. Just footprints in the wet grass that could have been anyone's. They told me to document everything and call if anything else happened. That night, I pushed my dresser in front of my bedroom door and stayed up until sunrise. Saturday morning, 6 new notifications. Each one a different angle of my house taken at night while I was awake. They showed the glow of my TV through the living room window, my shadow passing by the kitchen, even me peeking through the curtains. I was being watched the entire time. The last snap came Sunday evening. I was in the kitchen trying to eat something for the first time in days. The notification sound made me jump. It was a video this time taken from right outside my kitchen window. I could hear my own movements in the background, the sound of my fork against the plate. Then the camera turned, showing a hand reaching for my back door handle. I ran, didn't even grab my keys or wallet. Just ran out the front door and drove to my sister's house in my slippers. Called the police again from her place. They searched my house but found nothing, no signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, nothing disturbed inside. I haven't been back home since then. My sister's been great, letting me crash here, but I know I can't stay forever. The snaps have stopped since I left, but that almost makes it worse. Are they waiting for me to come back? Did they get what they wanted? Were they ever really there at all? My neighbor checks on my house daily, says everything looks normal. The police drive by regularly, but haven't found anything suspicious. On paper, nothing really happened. Just some creepy videos and photos that disappeared after 24 hours. No evidence left except the screenshots I took. I'm writing this from my sister's guest room. Tomorrow I'm changing my phone number and getting a security system installed at my house. Maybe then I'll feel safe enough to go back. But every time I close my eyes, I see those videos getting closer and closer to my house, and I hear that notification sound in my dream. I was just a normal 23-year-old scrolling through social media during my lunch break at the office. Between bites of my sandwich, I got a Snapchat notification. The username was weird, just random numbers and letters, like someone had smashed their keyboard. User 847,392 or something like that. What I saw made me drop my phone. It was a crystal clear photo of me that morning standing in my driveway locking my front door. The angle was from across the street, partially hidden behind my neighbor's bushes. The caption simply read, 10 days left. I immediately checked my windows, but the parking lot was empty except for my coworkers' cars. After blocking the account, I got another snap instantly from a different random username. Same photo, same message. I closed the app and deleted it, but notifications kept coming from new accounts. By the time I got home that evening, I had reinstalled Snapchat just to see if it would stop. It didn't. Day 9 brought a new photo. This time I was at my regular coffee shop, ordering my usual morning latte. But something was off about the image. In the reflection of the coffee shop window, there was a dark figure standing on the sidewalk. It was blurry, like a smudge on the lens, but definitely person-shaped. The caption ticked down, 9 days left. The next few days became a blur of anxiety and paranoia. Day 8 showed me walking my dog in the park, the figure now closer standing beneath a tree. Day 7 caught me at the mall, the mysterious watcher visible in the reflection of a store window. Day 6 was the worst, a photo of me sleeping in my bed taken through my bedroom window. The figure was standing in my backyard. I started sleeping at different friends' houses, changing my routine completely. It didn't matter. Somehow, they always found me. The photos kept coming, and in each one, that blur of a person got closer. By day 5, I could tell it was unnaturally tall, its proportions all wrong. Day 4's snap showed me in the grocery store. The figure was at the end of the aisle, its form distorted like a glitch in a video game. I stopped going out altogether after that, but it didn't help. Day 3's photo was taken inside my sister's house, where I'd been staying. The figure was in the hallway just outside the guest room. I barely remember days 2 and 1. I didn't sleep, didn't eat, just sat in my sister's living room with all the lights on, jumping at every shadow. The snaps came like clockwork. Day 2 showed the figure standing right behind my chair, its form stretching up to the ceiling. In Day 1's photo, taken somehow in complete darkness, all I could see was a pair of 2 bright eyes hovering above me while I dozed on the couch. This morning my phone buzzed one last time. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely open the snap. Unlike the others, this wasn't a photo of me. The screen was completely black except for 3 words, "Look behind." The air in the room suddenly felt thick and cold. My breath came out in visible puffs like being outside on a winter morning. The lights flickered once, twice, then went out completely. My phone's screen provided the only light, casting everything in a harsh blue glow. I could feel it standing behind me. The air crackled with something that felt ancient and wrong, like static electricity, but alive. I didn't want to turn around, but my body moved on its own. Slowly, so slowly, I turned my head. That was 3 hours ago. My sister came home for lunch and found my phone on the floor, screen cracked but still recording. The police are here now taking statements, but they won't find anything. There's only one photo left on my Snapchat, a selfie I don't remember taking, showing me staring straight ahead with wide, empty eyes. Behind me stands a figure so tall it has to bend to fit in the frame, its face a blur of static, arms impossibly long and reaching. The caption reads, 0 days left. They never found me. Just this note on my phone, and that final snap that disappears if anyone tries to screenshot it. The countdown reached 0, and now I'm gone. I still remember the exact moment Riley's username popped up on my Snapchat, 11:43 p.m. on a Tuesday night. I was scrolling through stories half asleep when the notification appeared. Riley Davis 2002 added you. The name brought back faint memories of high school chemistry. A quiet girl with brown hair who sat behind me senior year. We weren't friends, just familiar faces who occasionally shared notes. After accepting her request, things started normally enough. Her first snap was a simple selfie with the puppy filter, looking pretty much how I remembered her. I sent back a quick photo of my late-night snack. Over the next few days, we fell into a casual pattern of sharing random moments, her morning coffee, my Netflix recommendations, her cat sleeping in weird positions. During the second week, she started sending more frequent snaps. Photos of her breakfast at local cafes, walks in the park, shopping trip. I noticed she seemed to visit a lot of places in my area, which wasn't too surprising since our hometown wasn't far away. We'd exchange basic comments about good coffee spots or nice weather. Then things shifted. 3 weeks into our reconnection, I received a snap of my regular coffee shop, The Daily Grind. The caption read, "Great lattes here." I froze, staring at the image. It was taken from across the street, showing the exact angle I see every morning when I walk to work. I hadn't mentioned this place to her. The next day, another snap came through, the park directly across from my apartment complex. Perfect day for a walk. The photo showed my usual bench, where I eat lunch on weekends. My unease grew. The following snap was of my street corner, then my local grocery store, then the gym I visit every Tuesday and Thursday. Each photo got progressively closer to my daily routine. A shot of my car in its assigned spot, the entrance to my apartment building, the convenience store where I buy my morning paper, all with casual, friendly captions that felt increasingly wrong. The timestamps were always just minutes before or after I'd been at these locations. One evening, I received a snap of my bedroom window, taken from the parking lot below. The yellow glow of my reading lamp was visible through the curtains. The caption simply said, "Sweet dreams." My hands shook as I immediately blocked her account. I spent that night with my lights off, constantly checking my locks. Desperate for answers, I messaged Emma, who kept in touch with most of our graduating class. I asked about Riley, trying to sound casual. Emma's response came quickly. "Riley Davis? Are you sure? She died in a car crash 2 years ago." My stomach dropped. Emma sent me a link to a news article from our local paper. There was Riley's senior photo, alongside details of a single vehicle accident on Route 27. The crash happened late at night, no other cars involved. They found her car wrapped around a tree, no signs of braking. Panicked, I tried to access the snaps to show Emma, but they'd all disappeared. When I searched for Riley's username, nothing came up. The account had vanished completely. I scrolled through my friends list repeatedly, but there was no trace of her ever being there. I spent hours that night going through every social media platform, searching for Riley Davis. All I found was her old Facebook profile, untouched since 2021. The last post was about starting her new job. Comments below had turned into a memorial after her death. That was 2 months ago. I've since moved apartments and changed my routines, but questions still haunt me. Who was behind that account? How did they know my every move? I never spotted anyone following me, never noticed any suspicious cars or faces. The police weren't much help. With no saved snaps and a disappeared account, there wasn't much to investigate. They suggested changing my social media settings and being more aware of my surroundings. Sometimes I convinced myself it was just an elaborate prank, maybe someone from high school with too much time on their hands. But late at night, when I catch movement outside my new window or hear notifications on my phone, I remember those snaps. Each one a little closer, a little more personal, leading up to that final photo of my window. And I wonder if somewhere, someone is still watching, still following, still pretending to be a dead girl from my past. Last week, I got another friend request on Snapchat from someone I vaguely knew in high school. What started as a normal night on Snapchat turned into something I can't explain, and honestly, I'm scared to even open the app anymore. But I need to share what's happening. Last Tuesday started like any other night. I was in bed around midnight, couldn't sleep, so I was doing what any normal person does, mindlessly scrolling through social media. I'd been trying out different Snapchat filters to send to my best friend Katie. You know those nights when you're just sending the dumbest snaps back and forth? That's what we were doing. I found this new butterfly filter that made your face all sparkly and ethereal looking. My hair was in this messy bun. I had on my old gray sleep shirt, and my bedroom lights were dimmed. Just the small lamp on my nightstand was on. I took the snap, added some random emoji, and sent it to Katie. She replied with a laughing face, and I went to sleep thinking nothing of it. That's when things got weird. 3 days later, I was watching TikTok when a Snapchat notification popped up. The strange part? It showed my own username as the sender. At first, I thought it was just one of those memories notifications where Snapchat shows you old snaps. But when I opened it, my blood ran cold. It was the exact same snap from Tuesday night. Same butterfly filter, same messy bun, same gray shirt. But something was different. There was this dark figure standing in the background, near my closet door. It was blurry and shadowy, but definitely there. I could make out what looked like a tall, human-shaped form. I immediately checked my saved snaps and camera roll, thinking maybe I'd accidentally caught something in the original and never noticed. But the original snap wasn't saved anywhere. I texted Katie asking if she remembered anything weird in the snap I'd sent her. She said it looked totally normal. The next day, another notification from my own account. Same snap, but this time the figure had moved. It was standing closer to my bed, maybe 4 feet away from where I'd been sitting. I tried screenshots, screen recordings, everything, but nothing would save. The snap would just disappear like normal, only to show up again the next day. This went on for days, and with each new version, the figure got closer. By day 5, it was standing right behind my shoulder. I could almost make out features in its face, dark hollows where eyes should be, a shadowy impression of a mouth. The butterfly filter's sparkles seemed to bend around it, like it was actually there in the room when I took the original snap. I deleted Snapchat completely, wiped it from my phone, cleared all cache and data, downloaded it again with a new account. The next day, same snap, but now the figure's face was right next to mine, its darkness mixing with the butterfly effects, making them look less like sparkles and more like static. The notifications started coming at specific times, 3:33 a.m. every single night. I'd wake up to my phone buzzing, and there it would be. Another version, the figure always closer, always more defined. I started sleeping with all my lights on, moved my bed away from the walls, borrowed my mom's old religious necklace even though I'm not religious. Then the figure started showing up in my room at night. I'd wake up and see it standing exactly where it appeared in the snaps. First by the closet, then by my desk, then closer to my bed. Every time I'd turn on the lights or move, it would vanish. But I know what I saw. Last night was the worst. The snap came as usual at 3:33 a.m. In this version, the figure was so close to my face that its darkness completely covered one half of the snap. The butterfly filter glitched where its face met mine, creating this weird distortion effect. When I looked up from my phone, I saw it standing at the foot of my bed, in the exact same position as the snap. I threw my phone across the room and ran out, spent the rest of the night in the living room with all the lights on. This morning I checked my phone, screen's cracked, but it still works. There's already another notification waiting. I don't know what this thing is or what it wants. The original snap was nothing special, just me being silly with a filter late at night. But somehow it opened something up, some kind of door or connection I never meant to make. Every time I think about that first innocent snap, I get chills remembering how normal everything was before it. They say cameras can capture things we can't see with our naked eyes. Maybe some filters do more than just add cute effects. Maybe they let us see things we're not supposed to see. It's almost 3:33 a.m. now. My phone's starting to buzz. The notification is there, waiting. I don't want to open it, but I know I will. I need to know how close it's gotten this time. I need to know if tonight's the night it finally reaches.